Back. You watching Liquid Lunch. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming to you today from the Corona Bunker Studios in my living room, believe it or not. I'm hoping next Monday we're going to get back to our real digs at the Lunchbox Studios in New York City, New York, right on Broadway. But the show's off Broadway right now, but we still bring you the top line headliner guests. And joining me again right now, Republican strategist, business leader, and philanthropist Joe Pinion, and our good friend Richard Roth, big-time attorney, and tends to lean left once in a while. And during the break, he disclosed that he's actually taking Donald Trump up on his offer to prevent coronavirus. He's drinking.
This is my morning Joe.
Good one.
Good.
I got my. I'm adding lemon Lysol to my drink every day, just to get one little squirt in there. I thought that was, I want to get into, where this all started and see what you guys' thoughts are. But I thought it was pretty crazy, the whole thing, when I just read the words of what Trump said, that somehow or another the media could rip that all the way out to he told people to drink bleach. Like, it just didn't make sense to me.
Well, to me personally, it's us having the right conversation poorly. Because to me, the issue isn't that he told people to drink bleach. He clearly didn't say that. He clearly didn't tell people to inject themselves with house cleaner. What he said was that he was trying to find ways, from a scientific method, to take things that work in the real world and apply them to the human anatomy, which is basically what scientists do every day. The issue is he was doing it on live television in a world where children will drink, Tide Pods and put it on YouTube for fun. So I think that's the conversation we should be having. Should the president be thinking aloud in the times of a national pandemic? That's the conversation to have, not trying to contort his words into something, that is really obscene and absurd.
Well, I agree with Joe to some extent. The conversation is, should the president be speaking out loud? But the second part of that conversation is, should the leader of the free world be asking a doctor whether or not ingesting Lysol or Clorox? He looked at her. You saw her. She was humiliated. She looked like this. No, come on, Donald. You got to have a brain. There are clinical trials of people actually trying to get you. I could go on and on and on and on. How he says things that are just so stupid that it goes to his intelligence and his lack of competency. I got to tell you, when you ask a doctor in front of a live audience whether or not you can ingest stuff which kills you, it's just not. Should he have just said it? But how can he even say that at all?
It's debatable if that's what he actually said. But
it's not, because he never said that.
He didn't say it.
That.
He looked at her and said, "I don't know." Here's what he said. He said, "I don't know." Since it works so well and disinfecting.
The point was, he said, if there could be
maybe we could put it in and ingest it. That's what he said.
The issue is that
never said the word ingest.
Legitimate conversation to have.
Never said the word ingest. Never said the word ingest.
Then he went into then he went to the SUV raid and said, "Hey,
oh my goodness."
No, Richard, come on. You're an attorney. Be fair.
Here's the problem.
He never said the word ingest. Ingest was never said.
To the people in the know and tries to do things on his own, which is dangerous. He has very competent people, whether it's Fauci, whether it's Burke, whether it's whoever. He's got to listen. He didn't listen to him in January or February. We can talk about that next time. But certainly now he has to listen to him. And what's funny now, John, is that he now that one of his people has coronavirus, one of his Secret Service, he's now implementing what we've been wanting to implement all along: tracing and testing for the White House. So it's interesting how it's now working there. I wish it could work with us.
This is a prime example of why the people who are on the Trump train will never get off the Trump train, because they can't even trust people to be honest about the words that come out of the president's mouth. President Trump, God bless him, says many things that leaves people scratching their heads. He does that on his own. You don't have to invent new things that he never said. But I think to your point,
he used the word ingest. But
hey, guys, hang on 1 second. I just pulled this up because I used it the other day. This is what Trump said. I see that disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. Is there a way we can do something like that by injection or a cleaning? So that you're going to have to
What was
use
that word before? By a cleaning? By it in what?
injection.
Oh, I thought it was
not
ingestion.
injection. And then he finishes. And then he finishes by
It
saying,
reads like
"You're gonna
it
have
reads
to
like
do
the opening
that."
paragraph to a
Okay,
clinical
fine, you know
trial.
what?
Injection.
Fine, John.
Which
Let's
is what happens in
And he
science
says-
all the time.
inject Clorox.
Counselor, and then he finishes the statement by saying,
You gotta love it.
So
You
you're
gotta
going to have to use medical doctors, is what he said, but it sounds interesting. We'll see. That's what he said. Never said ingest. He said inject if you use a doctor.
I mean, I think the moral of
That's
the
better.
look, the
That's
moral of
Let's inject Clorox.
look, that's not the point. The moral of the story is that the reason why it's probably unwise for the leader of the free world to be having these existential questions in public in an actual press conference is because of this type of twisting of words and contortion that happened. I think that's the conversation that we should be having. This notion that we have to actually try to make his words worse or different than they really are kind of gets us completely into the weeds, which doesn't get us talking about the core issue, which is the fact that the World Health Organization started off by telling us that the worst pandemic in 100 years could not be transmitted person to person.
So, Joe, here's where we disagree. The conversation should be, what is the government's plan today?
Correct.
We had that conversation in January, in February when he ignored it, in March, and how about we're now in May? How about if the president has a smart, strategic alliance, instead of having the governors competing for ventilators, instead of having governors try to regional, how about having a president when FDR, today happened to be VE Day, which is Victory in Europe Day, the day that, thank God, World War II ended. When FDR decided to start all these plans, a lot of them are still in effect. The WHO is one of them. He actually had specific plans and a regiment going forward. Donald Trump literally wanted to disband the coronavirus scene.
All right. I don't know if that happened. We're up against it right here, guys.
We're
I'm
around the
sorry.
bend.
we gotta have you guys back because this is one of the best mix-it-ups we've had in a while. Richard Roth, Joe Pinion, thank you very much. Frankie staying with me. 1 minute break. Check in what's going on around the country. Frankie and I right after this.